Today, we're jumping into a topic that can literally make or break any construction project: stakeholder communication. Getting this right is the difference between a project that soars and one that gets completely stuck in the mud. So, let's dig in.
So, have you ever wondered why even the most meticulously planned projects, the ones planned down to the last bolt, still end up over budget and behind schedule? Well, more often than not, the real answer isn't in the blueprints or the spreadsheets. It's in the conversations that never even happened. To really get what I'm talking about, let's paint a picture. Imagine a major construction firm is laying the foundation for a huge new hospital. Everything seems to be going great, right? The teams are humming along, the client's optimistic. What could possibly go wrong?
But then, a problem. A critical shipment of supplies gets delayed. Now, the site manager knows about it, but he thinks, hey, I can probably sort this out myself. No need to worry, everyone. So he decides to stay quiet. He doesn't tell the structural engineer, doesn't tell the client. And right there, that's the first crack in the project's foundation. And the results of that one decision to stay silent, it's a domino effect. Confusion leads to rework, costs start to balloon, and the entire project schedule, it's thrown into complete chaos. And all of it, every bit of it, comes down to the right information not getting to the right people at the right time. This really shows how one simple communication gap can have massive consequences, and that's what we're going to explore first. So that brings us to our first section. We're going to dive into why communication isn't just some soft skill. No, it's the actual bedrock that every successful project is built on. Okay, now this is fascinating. When we're talking to someone face to face, how much of the message do you think comes from the actual words we use? You might be shocked. It's only 7%. Yeah, you heard that right. A whopping 58% is our body language, and another 35% is just our tone of voice. Just let that sink in. It totally explains why a quick in-person huddle on site can solve a problem way faster than a 20-reply email chain, doesn't it? So, keeping that in mind, let's move on. In this next section, we're going to lay out what I like to call the fundamental rules of engagement for communication on any construction project. We can basically break communication down into two main types. First, you've got verbal, that's all the written and spoken stuff, like emails, reports, and phone calls. Then you've got nonverbal, the gestures, posture, and the look on someone's face. And let me tell you, on a loud, active construction site, a simple nod from a foreman can signal "go ahead" 100 times more clearly than shouting ever could. Both are absolutely critical. We can also categorize it by how formal it is. Formal communication is your official paper trail. Think project briefs, contracts, and RFIs, which are requests for information. Then there's the informal stuff, like a quick chat during a site walk. And here's the crucial point. While you absolutely need that formal paper trail, it's almost always in those informal conversations that the really critical issues bubble up to the surface first. Information also has to flow in the right direction. It moves downward, from managers to their teams. It has to move upward, from the folks on the ground back to leadership. And it moves horizontally between peers like engineers and architects. And that upward flow, it's absolutely priceless. Imagine a subcontractor on a new high-rise spots a tiny error in a floor plan. Getting that feedback up the chain immediately is what prevents a potentially catastrophic structural issue down the line. Okay, so we've covered the types and the flows. Now, let's get strategic. In this next section, we're moving from theory into practice. It's time to actually design a communication blueprint. This is all about being proactive, not reactive. On any project, information can flow in different patterns. Sometimes you need a wheel pattern, where everything is centralized through one leader. This is perfect for simple, clear directives. But for complex problem solving, an all-channel pattern, where everyone can talk to everyone else, is way more effective. And here's the key. Choosing the right pattern isn't just a preference. It's about strategically matching your communication structure to the task at hand. If you get this wrong, you're literally building friction into your project from day one. So, the crucial point here is that great communication doesn't just happen by accident. It's a managed activity. It really comes down to 3 core processes. First, you plan. Figure out who needs what information and when. Second, you manage. Make sure that information is actually flowing like it's supposed to. And third, you control. You monitor the process, adjust as you go, and document everything. All right, let's get into the final and most practical section of our explainer. We're talking about the actual tools and methods that professionals use every single day to keep communication flowing smoothly on site. So what's in this modern toolkit? Well, we're talking performance reports,
communication platforms like MS Teams or Procore, and really robust information management systems. For instance, a contractor using a tool like Procore can log an RFI and upload progress photos right from their phone. This gives every stakeholder immediate access to updates, which cuts down on endless back and forth emails and phone tag. Now, reports are a huge part of this, and they generally fall into 3 buckets. A status report tells you where the project is right now. It's a snapshot in time. A progress report shows what's been accomplished over a period of time, and a forecast predicts what's expected to happen next. Using these correctly builds an incredible amount of trust and clarity with everyone involved. So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this idea. Communication isn't just about sending messages. It's about creating a shared understanding. It's about ensuring the timing is perfect. And ultimately, it's about building the credibility and trust you need to see a complex project all the way through to the finish line.
And that leaves us with a final question for you to think about. Looking at your own work, your own projects, what is the one communication gap that you can identify and close this week? Thanks for joining me.